Thank you for staying with us. It is time now to know what's on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers. Journalists Ife Onyegbule and Dari Odufon are here in the studio, and it is Ife's birthday today. Good morning, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Honorable.
Thank you. No, it's at the book launch. It's about the book today, not about the birthday.
Not about the birthday.
Not about the birthday.
That is a way to run away from sharing cake.
It's a post party.
Okay.
It's an honorable's birthday. Can't just have it.
All right, let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the Leadership newspaper. Our COVID-19 experience, Nigeria children share deep emotional stories with the world. Nigeria children share deep emotional stories with the world. Find details of that story on the pages of the Leadership newspaper. To the national economy now, disengaged workers withdraw 142 billion naira from pension assets as job losses rise. Disengaged workers withdraw 142 billion naira from pension assets as job losses rise. To the business day, Nigeria's trade sector seeing exiting 2 years of negative growth. Nigeria's trade sector seeing exiting 2 years of negative growth. To the Punch newspaper now, debt rises by 20.8 trillion naira under Buhari, servicing gulps 10.26 trillion naira. Federal government owes 26.91 trillion naira, states Federal Capital Territory 6.1 trillion naira. Debt revenue ratio shows danger, experts. Federal government borrowing non-transparent, its purpose not known, says economist. You find details of the story on the pages of the Punch newspaper. To the Daily Times now, Northern Kaduna wants state split. Northern Kaduna want state split. You find details of that story on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper. To the Blueprint now, governors speak at zonal hearing on constitution review. Restructuring won't address our problems as a nation. El Rufai, as the governor of Kaduna, speaking there. Right, to the First newspaper now. Nigeria's existence under threat. Lawan Gbajabiamila cry out. We need better investment in security. Right, you find details of the story on the pages of the First newspaper. To the Vanguard now. Wave of attacks threatening Nigeria's existence. NAS. Buhari, Lawan Gbaja, Sultan Oni speak at House of Rep Security Summit. Insecurity challenging our nationhood, standing against my ambitions. Buhari, executive should implement outcome of security summit. Lawan. This is not time for name calling. House is on fire. Gbaja. Enough of this talk. Let's walk. Sultan. Our foundation wrong. Let's engage youth. Oni. Right, to the Nigerian Tribune now. At zonal hearing on constitution review, return to 1963 constitution, state police, fiscal federalism dominate. Return to 1963 constitution, state police, fiscal federalism dominate. You find details of the story on the pages of the Nigerian Tribune. To the This Day newspaper now, power devolution, state police demands dominate public hearing. Akeredolu seeks return to 1963 constitution. Okowa demands new document, not amendment. Lagos wants special status. NLC NELGA seeks retention of minimum wage, local government autonomy. To the Nation newspaper, still talking about the review of the constitution. State police power devolution top talks. Lagos seeks special status. Akeredolu Afe Babalola call for 1963 constitution. Southeast give us more states. Niger Delta canvasses fiscal federalism. All right, to the Daily Sun, still talking about the Constitution Review public hearing. Senate gets request for power devolution. New state in Southeast. Governors, others demand state police. True federalism. Lagos seeks special economic status. Will support amendment that enhance unity, prosperity. Ugwani. Amendments will address challenges. All right. Still talking about the Constitution Review hearing, public hearing, resource control, state police, fiscal federalism, additional states, top agenda. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Trust, 154 feared dead in Kebbi boat mishap, 180 on board. Accident caused by overloading Niwa, local divers on rescue mission. It's devastating, Buhari, really, really devastating. Out of 180 persons on board, 154 persons are feared to have died from the boat mishap in Kebbi State. A really sad story there. But gentlemen of the press, let me use that word. Let's focus on the Constitution Review public hearing, because that seems to be on almost all of the pages of the papers this morning. And one of the threads that run through in the demands is the request for power devolution. Some states are calling for fiscal federalism. Lagos is seeking special economic status. Well, but the response is that they will support, talking about the National Assembly, says they will support amendments that will enhance unity. But one voice that seems to be deferring is that of the Kaduna State Governor, that says that, I'm trying to look for that paper now, where he talked about the fact that restructuring will not address the nation's problems. Let's get your reaction. I'll begin with the birthday girl.
Thank you so much for that. I'm not surprised that you have a Kaduna State Governor that's talking about Governor El-Rufai saying that restructuring will not actually solve Nigeria's problems. It just who would ever believe that he will say such a thing? We've been clamoring for this. Let's go back to the regions, what it used to be, so that everyone go back to your region, see exactly what it is that's going on there, find ways to get things done as it is. Everyone started to focus on oil, and we forgot about. There was this video that went viral about Pastor Tunde Bakare, where he was talking about restructuring. If you didn't understand what it was, he broke it down for you to say whatever happened to the groundnut pyramids, what happened to cocoa, what happened to coal, in
the states,
and all of that.
The regions were really strengthened at
exactly.
the time.
They had what it is that was used to actually keep the region going. And we're saying, look, let's go back to that. Yes, things have changed, times have changed, things would get better as it is. Let's go back to that so that people can look inward as it is. Instead of going cap in hand all of the time to the government, you're going there to get, what's it called now? They get security vote, they get monies voted to them, talking about their local governments and all that. But it shouldn't be. As we said, it's important for people to understand that when we go back to these regions now, you're not looking at the other region to say, I'm going to get something from the Niger Delta, which is where the black gold is. We'll get the monies from there. No, think about what it is that you are bringing to the table. So for Governor El-Rufai to come out to say that that wouldn't solve the country's problem, he's beginning to point a light. Because I've always asked the question, who is afraid of restructuring? I don't understand.
Why are they afraid of it?
Why is anyone afraid of restructuring, for crying out loud? Maybe it's now going to bring to the table the people who are truly not ready to, contribute to the growth of this country. But for me, I think we should still stand on the fact that restructuring is the only key if we want Nigeria to truly move forward.
Let's get Darius' perspective to this now. Are you in support of the fact that restructuring is the way forward? Are you confident that this constitution review that we are having a public hearing will bring about the needed change that we intend to see?
Yeah, you packed the questions, but I'll split them.
Yeah.
Restructuring. Yeah, we've been talking about restructuring, and I am an advocate of restructuring. No doubt. But I want you to understand that restructuring means different things to different people. I read El-Rufai's position, and I want to tell you that I don't totally disagree with him. I agree with some of the things he's saying.
Okay, what do you agree with?
It depends on where you are coming from, what you are looking at. Okay, if restructuring means simply going back to the regions, to you, for example, I would disagree that that is what we need. If we go back to the region and we still centralize power at the regional level, we have the same problem we're having now.
How so?
Because the states are there. The problem we are having now is that the center is too powerful. Let's have devolution of power.
But that has been clearly stated in the Constitution.
From our Constitution as it currently operates? No. That centralizes power in the federal government, while the states are left to just be partners, mere partners, when they should actually be the main units of our federation, pushing the funds, to the center, donating to the center after getting the funds from their states and taking care of the needs of their own people, contributing to national fund. But what do we have? All funds goes to the national, and then it's now trickles down. That is the problem we have. So if we go to regionalism and we still operate such arrangement, the state will soon begin to complain again, because the states are already there. Times have changed. We are not in 1963, when we have not tasted the state arrangement. When Southwest Nigeria, as far as anybody was concerned, was just Yoruba land. When Eastern region, as far as anybody was concerned, was just Igbo land. When Northern region was the Caliphate. No. We now have self-determination groups all over the country. So much so that if you create even the Western region today, don't be surprised if some people say, no, we don't want to be part of that arrangement. So we really need to take a better look this time. The states are there. Let's have the evolution of power. Let's strengthen the federating units, not the federation. The federation itself is too strong, with little to do with the funds. The federating units need the powers. They need the funds. They need the authority to take and harness the God-given resources of each state in such a way that they will take care of their own people and contribute to the national fund that will grow the center. Having said that, I'm not making excuses for El-Rufai. I'm only saying a better look at what he's saying, away from, we newspapers, when we cast headlines at times. It can really be misleading. When he said, what is it? It's not the solution. He's not saying we should not have what we all are clamoring for. But he's saying we should look deeper, and we'll see that there are other issues. Then let's come to the constitutional conference. Debates currently ongoing. It's a good thing, but I will tell you, we've passed this road several times. So many reports are there gathering dust on various shelves in the Aso Rock, in the National Assembly, in some committee rooms. We've done all this before. What is it that we are doing with this public hearing that we have not done before? I can't see it. I don't know what is new about this public hearing. What I will see to be new is the implementation of some of these clamors that have been there. What are the new things we are hearing? Nothing. State police.
Something we've been talking about.
The evolution of power. Almost like forever. Restructuring. That is already a mantra. Then creation of more states in the East. Yes. I've been hearing that since 1999. That the South will prefer us to talk about each zone managing its own resources. That has always been there. That we believe strongly that we need to take a look at our constitution. That's what we've been saying. What I am saying is that after all the talk, when you were reading the newspaper, there was something I liked, and it was just like the president said this, the Senate president has said this, the speaker said this, the New of Ife said this, and finally somebody said something. Stop the talk. Let's take action. That's the Sultan. I think that is what I'm saying too. After all this talk, I cannot say stop the talk now. I won't say enough.
Because I was going to ask you that should we stop the conversation?
Now we have started the conversation.
Public hearing?
It has started.
Yes.
If it were to be before it starts, I would say maybe we actually don't need much discuss again. Let's go back and get some of the things done. But we are on it already. So I'm saying after this conversation, don't let the report gather dust. Implement. All we need to do is implement. And in this process also, we should be conscious of the fact that some people are already in court saying the National Assembly cannot make law for us. Saying the National Assembly cannot amend a faulty document. Somebody is already challenging the entirety of the National Constitution. And he's saying, if you amend this one, you are wasting your time.
That we should have a new document.
Let's have a new document. So we should also consider all this so that we don't embark in this exercise again and then we say, oh, we have finally been able to amend the 1999 Constitution.
And Nigerians were part of it.
And Nigerians were part of it. Then somebody will just win a case in court and say that was amending illegality.
Right.
You know how these laws are. And then once the court says the 1999 Constitution itself is faulty, then the whole exercise becomes nothing because you cannot put something on nothing. So it is essential for us to take good look at the whole process. Where are we coming from? Where do we intend to be?
Yeah.
The national question is being answered in all this conversation. Beautiful. But the discussion about restructuring is about how do we want to live together? Or don't we want to live together?
Well, the president
These are
has
questions.
said
And
it's not up for
all the questions
negotiation.
are debatable. For anybody to say something is not negotiable, I disagree. All options should be negotiated. All options should, it is not just about we want to discuss to amend the constitution. Constitution for who? A people that are yet to agree on how to live together? A people still disagreeing on the daily basis, secession talks all over the place? Do we want to live together is a question we should answer.
We should have.
How do we want to live together is another question we should answer.
All right, Ify, let's get your reaction to all that Dari has said.
I want to toe the line of Dari on most of this conversation, because everything that you read about has been talked about, constitution review, we talk about that every day on radio, TV, the newspapers, and I'm wondering, why do we have to keep saying the same thing over?
What is the challenge with
and
execution?
That's it.
Point.
After when this government came to power, I saw the very voluminous document that former President Goodluck Jonathan handed over. Are you saying to me that no one has actually opened that document to say, we can even pick one or two things from that confab, that gathering that people had to say, look, we have these Nigerians who came to talk about different things happening in the region. Let's pick one or two and implement that. But no one's talking about that. We're looking at calling another meeting to say we want to still talk about the same thing. Why do we have to keep doing the same thing and expect an extraordinary result? It's practically impossible. But be that as it may, whether we like it or not, restructuring is the way to go. But as Zari has said, I attended, I think, a lawyers forum where they were talking about restructuring. And one of the lawyers said there that what restructuring means to the people in the South is practically different from what it is that the Northerner sees it as. And that's why they look at it that you completely want to cut us off, you know, and take over Nigeria as it is. But that's not what it is. People need to break it down. And that's why I'm thinking, what is the National Orientation Agency doing? This is something they need to start hammering into the ears and heads of Nigerians in their different languages. And that's the truth. Do they believe in it? So we need to also move away from the fact that we have strong men in Nigeria instead of strong institutions. You know, everyone is bowing, trembling and bowing at the president's feet and all of that. No one can look him in the face and say to him, Mr. President, the time has come for us to really look ourselves in the face and say, this is the way that we need to run this entity called Nigeria. Because I tell you, if Nigeria breaks up tomorrow, who's going to gain? It's not as easy as we think it is. So we must do the right thing, and the time to do it is now.
That orientation is necessary at this time. A lot of people need to understand what it is when we keep talking about breaking away or staying united.
That's it.
It seems a lot of persons do not understand. They are just agitating.
Everybody is just talking about secession. Everybody is agitating for. But the truth of the matter, like if he said, is if we break, will it be as easy as we see it now? If that's a question. If we stay together the way we are now, can we survive it? That's why you should take a look at what El-Rufai is really saying. He's saying restructuring will not solve our problem as a nation. It may solve our individual problems. It may solve our problem as various states, federating units. But it will not solve the problem of our staying together. Because there are questions for us to ask ourselves.
Are we ready to ask ourselves?
I will control my own resources.
Are we ready to have that conversation? Are we being genuine with the conversation?
Is that the conversation we're having now?
That is not it.
That is not the conversation. Okay, we are having conversation about power devolution and resource control. Okay, I'm going to control my own resources. You will control your own. She will control her own. We have answered that question. And we think we are all going to be happy. The answer is no. How do we now interrelate? Why we start controlling our resources? Are you going to say, for you to get my resources, this is what you do, and then we place it on the basis of enmity or on the basis of friendship? Are we doing these things with the view that we want to remain friends, one indivisible nation, or with the view that we want to compete?
I think there should be honest conversation.
Honesty
is honest conversation.
That's what the honesty is the challenge.
Everybody's going to the discussion with some mindset.
That's it. But we need very honest
conversation. Minded.
Right.
We are going to the table with our interest.
All right.
Instead of national interest.
Something has to give at a negotiating table.
Yes.
And if we are ready to have that is the question now. All right, let's quickly touch on something that generated a little controversy online yesterday, talking about the Ibori loot, where we saw that the Accountant General of the Federation said they had returned the loot, or given it to the Delta State, and the Delta State government came out to say, no, you haven't. And then we saw that today there was a recant. That they haven't, the Accountant General saying that they haven't, yes, it hasn't been released to
so if the governor
Delta
did
State.
Not talk. The governor was very, very vociferous in Sha. We know Siamo. We know Siam.
I think there were plans for that money. I think there were plans for the money.
You think
so? You are not giving something to me.
That money is probably missing in action.
You went public to say
you have given it to me.
So what if I had kept quiet?
And the doctor said, the governor said, look.
No, the question is, what if the governor had kept quiet?
No, he couldn't have.
No, he wouldn't have.
He couldn't have.
See, maybe because let me shock you.
All right.
This is politics. Maybe he spoke publicly because he's in the opposition party. If the governor were to be in the president, if you understand what I'm saying, in the president's party, it will be a private conversation. Mr. President, sir,
how far?
We have not seen that money the Accountant General announced, though. We have not seen it. It will be a private conversation. The president will say, oh, please go and clear it with the Accountant General, and something will happen there that we may not know. But it's crying out loud. Led the Accountant General to go and check
it had generated controversy before now.
And he found the money.
I generated controversy before now.
I also want to say that government officials need to beware of always wanting to run to the media to make noise, to say, oh, this money has actually come in, we've handed it over. It just doesn't work that way. Because if we also look at the things that happened when they were finding bags, Ghana must go of monies all over the place, Ikoyi, Kaduna, this airport and that airport, and the noise frenzy, we're all making noise. At the end of the day,
where are those monies?
God bless you. How did we follow those? Where are the monies?
Especially the Ikoyi
loot.
That was plenty.
It was so much.
That was
all over the place. So I'm glad that this has happened now. The Accountant General needs to understand. He occupies a position that is quite hefty as it is. And it shouldn't be seen, goofing like this in the media. That's the truth. And I give the governor
I have a lot of respect for that governor.
For him to come out to say.
He didn't fight. He only came out to say.
I didn't see the money. I never see money.
We never see that money. Now, but there is another angle to that Ibori loot. The Delta State government, generally, not just this current administration, since after Ibori, had refused to agree that there is an Ibori loot. So when we now begin to see this kind of discussion that they are expecting money from something they don't believe exists, it shows us how Nigeria.
But all eyes should just be on that money. All eyes should be on that money.
Because even if it goes to the states now, so that the money will not return to where it came from.
That's the talk. That it should not be reluted. A lot of persons have come out to say
it's you that says it should be reluted.
No,
I said it should not go back to where it came from.
I did not say it is going back to where it came from. I only said it should not be. It can be reluted in different ways. I don't know, but we are just saying, laying emphasis on the fact that
it should be used for the people.
No, that is it. Thank you so much. Let's leave the conversation here. And now, journalist Ife Onyegule, the birthday girl, and Dario do for Wakon. Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you for having us.
All right, to take a break now and return at the top of the hour for more on the program. Just stay with us.